This is WECT News at 5:30, streaming live on WECT.com and the WECT News app.
A scary afternoon for your neighbors caught in what turned out to be a tornado hitting part of New Hanover County. Now here's the area we're talking about where most of the damage is seen. Wellington Road, that's off Middle Sound Loop Road in the Ogden area of the county. A lot of trees down in that part of the area. WECT's Amanda Weston has been there for several hours now, and she's live there now. Amanda, you've been sending pictures back, and how bad is it as you've been driving around that part of the county? Continuing our coverage now, Brian Vassey's fate is in the hands of a judge. Both sides doing their closing arguments in the trial of a former police sergeant facing a charge of voluntary manslaughter. WECT's Jasmine Turner has continued to cover this case since day one. She was in court today for the 13th day and those closing arguments. Jasmine, what did the attorneys say as they closed their case?
Jasmine Turner, WECT News.
We've reported on the life-saving drug naloxone, how police and emergency crews have used it to save lives by reversing the effects of a heroin overdose. Well, there's a bill in the General Assembly that could make that drug available in every pharmacy across North Carolina. WECT's Susanna Black found out today a couple of local pharmacies are already sending that drug out. How are they able to do it so far, Susanna?
Well, John, current state law allows.
And the weather was just about perfect today for the opening ceremonies of the New Hanover County Special Olympics Spring Games. If you have never been to one of these events, please do yourself a favor and get there. You'll be glad you did. If you want to experience the pure joy of athletic competition, then a Special Olympics Games is where you need to be. This morning on the UNCW campus, more than 500 Special Olympics athletes from schools and group homes across the county were on center stage and loving every minute of it. Opening ceremonies for the 2016 Games, friends, family, and coaches cheering them on. But first, they had to take the oath.
Let me win. I cannot win. Let me put him in the tent. Let me put him in the tent.
And after those athletes took the oath, then it was time to compete. We had dashes, we had softball throws, we had runs to the end, and we had jumps for these competitors to do. They all want to win, but they want to be their best in doing it. That's what the Special Olympics is all about. And tomorrow, Special Olympics Bladen County Games will take place. You'll remember organizers had to postpone the event last week because of weather concerns. The athletes, the coaches, and family members, you need to be at Elizabethtown Middle School no later than 9:30. And we hope you have just as great a weather day as we did today in New Hanover County.
Drinking and driving is a personal decision. The choice is yours whether to get behind the wheel after having too much to drink.
Unfortunately, it's not just always you who suffers the consequences. Other lives can be ruined forever. Stephanie Wells made that bad decision, ruining lives other than her own. Some say she's not paying for it. In tonight's special report, how she is seeking redemption from those deadly decisions.
And I was looking down at my phone for GPS, and it just caught me off guard. I looked down because it talked to me.
In that instant, lives changed. It's not easy for Stephanie Wells to be here along Market Street, where she drove drunk, got distracted, hit a man with her car, and left the scene.
Michael was our only brother and youngest of 4. With the assistance of Good Shepherd, he was in Wilmington to start a new life. He was apparently on his way to Waffle House on July 19th to get food because he woke up hungry.
Michael Rankin died that day, July 19th, 2014. It took Stephanie 45 minutes to call 911. 45 minutes after she left Michael in the street.
And I told him who I was, what had happened, or what I knew of that happened. And then, I was brought in for questioning downtown.
Her blood alcohol level, 0.13, well over the legal limit. She was charged with DWI, hit and run, and with killing Michael Rankin. How difficult is it to live with what happened every day?
Well, between the time of the accident and the time of my sentencing in October, there's a lot of things that went on that proved how difficult it was.
The emotional toll grew so heavy. At one point, Stephanie tried taking her own life.
I just felt that that's what everyone wanted. And
for you not to be here anymore, for you to have died?
I felt that that was going to be the only retribution that could be paid out.
Fast forward 15 months. Stephanie faces a judge and enters a plea. Michael Rankin's family wants active prison time for her sentence, and so did prosecutors in the case. Stephanie has more than a dozen letters from family and friends, and she has a clean record. The judge in the case, John Nobles, saying there's nothing he can do that can bring the young man back, gives Stephanie what he called a harder judgment than active time: 250 hours of community service and 5 years probation. To those who say you didn't deserve the chance to stay out of prison, what do you say?
I agree.
You agree?
I agree. I think that, I think that some active time would have been needed. And if that would have made the family happier, I'm okay with that, and I would have been okay with that. And like I said, I went in thinking that that was going to happen. Stephanie
is free, as much as you can be free with a curfew, an ankle bracelet, no driver's license, and knowing you killed someone. But that freedom comes with a price.
I'm up here so that you don't have to be.
Her sentence includes community service, talking to schools with her message that drunk driving and distracted driving also have a price. Not everyone wants to listen. New Hanover County Schools denied her access. In a January email, Superintendent Tim Markley told school board members, "I have concerns about the message that you can get drunk, kill someone, and only get community service as punishment."
I just am not convinced that hearing from as well is the best use of our students' limited time. And I'm just not sure of the message that she could possibly give if she didn't get any jail time.
I do have the ability to speak, to not leave Michael on the side of the road like I did that night, and to really continue on with his legacy. And I really do believe that, as horrible as this was, that, hopefully that it does produce good, and it does have a lasting impact in the community.
Now, Stephanie says she has reached out to groups looking to talk to college students, and she tells me many of those groups did not reply. Others, though, she said, did not have speaking opportunities. Michael Rankin's family members still very upset over the sentence Judge Nobles imposed in the case. In an email, Michael's sister Karen told me she committed 2 felonies and received no jail time. That's just mind-boggling to us. A great injustice was done that day by New Hanover courts, and I can only hope that more people don't die at the hands of these underpunished drunk drivers. Now, I did reach out to Judge Nobles for a comment on the sentence he handed out, but I did not get a call back. You can read the transcript of the plea hearing. Read for yourself the judge's reasoning. We have it posted right now inside this story on WECT.com and the WECT News mobile app. Fran? Courthouse Square in downtown Burgaw, the place to be today in Pender County for the 2016 Relay for Life. We started things this morning with veterans of our country taking the first lap, led by Pender EMS and Fire, and that kicked things off. It's turned into a beautiful day. I'm honored to be the honorary chairman for this year's event, and we had survivors, we had caregivers, we had families, we had high schools, we had church teams, everybody here trying to raise awareness and raise funds to try to find a cure for cancer and to help families and patients.
It helps everyone, and even caregivers as well, because if you call our 800 number, we have on-site support counselors that can help the caregivers get through the emotional needs that they have, helping their cancer patients and survivors. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Last year we raised more than $40,000 at this event, helping people right here in southeastern North Carolina. And we hope that you will join us. The rest of the evening we'll be here in downtown Burgaw until 10 o'clock tonight, raising funds for Relay for Life. In Burgaw, John Evans, WECT News. At any time, on any day, you can find hundreds of syringes like this on streets across North Carolina, a sure sign of heroin use.
There's no community that's not touched by this opioid drug abuse. It's just, there's just not. If you think there's a location that's not, then they're not looking hard enough.
John Faircloth, a retired police chief and current state lawmaker, took action in April. He filed House Bill 712. No one in either house voted against it. The plan? Use experts to find the users and get them to safely dispose of their used needles.
Most injection drug users want to use a new syringe for every injection, right? The big problem in North Carolina is syringe access is incredibly difficult, which leads to a lot of people reusing syringes.
The results of reusing? More cases of HIV, more cases of hepatitis C, diseases already costing the state tens of millions of your tax dollars to treat.
It lowers significantly the number of accidental sticks to first responders. And just to begin with, that means that's fewer officers and EMS and fire personnel, doctors, nurses that aren't accidentally stuck with a used needle. And I assure you, there's very few things more frightening than to look down and see that first drop of blood come out the tip of your finger.
712's disposal program launches December 1st in 2 locations, the city of Fayetteville and Haywood County, west of Asheville. Robert Childs and the Harm Reduction Coalition built relationships in both places. They have buy-in from police and the community. So here's how the program's going to work. The coalition workers are going to go into high-use areas, and they're actually going to walk the streets looking for discarded needles. And when they find them, they'll pick them up and collect them. They're even going to put boxes in some of these areas so the users can dispose of the needles themselves. In a program that allows the users to give up what they use to shoot up, when they do, they can't be charged for it by police.
There will be a vast number of needles and syringes, used syringes that are no longer laying on the ground in the open, because we'll get them we'll get those off the ground. And that means fewer children, and it was even brought to my attention once, fewer pets that come home with a needle stuck in their foot.
Another hope? Meeting a user face to face, taking their dirty needle and giving them tools to overcome the addiction.
And if it means that while you're picking up a needle, while you're picking up a discarded syringe, you can speak to someone and give them some resources they didn't know existed, or if it means you can hand out an naloxone kit, to someone that's at risk of overdosing, you can make a difference in that person's life.
The disposal program can expand after 1 year, but experts say it's needed right here, right now. Is Wilmington and New Hanover County as bad as Fayetteville and as bad as Haywood County?
It's worse here.
It's worse here than
Yes.
Fayetteville and Haywood County?
Yes. For heroin deaths.
Bad enough that Robert Childs moved to Wilmington to work one-on-one with an area he says is in desperate need, to work with law enforcement, to clean up the streets, and launch new programs to save lives.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Injection complete.
Now that device you just heard is a brand new type of automatic naloxone injector. That's the, like this. That's the medication given to reverse a heroin overdose. Robert Childs says Wilmington police officers, New Hanover and Brunswick County Sheriff's deputies will soon be carrying those devices. And both Robert and Donnie Varnell said a needle exchange should be looked at in North Carolina, where users give up a dirty needle and they get a clean one. Programs like that are working now in 22 states and in Washington, D.C. but some can't get past the stigma of giving someone what they need to get high. And we have information about needle exchanges right now on the special Hooked on Heroin section of our website and our WECT News mobile app.